under management, or it's a combination of flat fee and performance fee, both. So you charge a basic flat fee for entire portfolio design, allocation, etc., and then you charge on performance. So it's a combination of all of that.
Okay, I think we'll ask someone from this side.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shashank. I'm a financial analyst, but it's a really enlightening discussion which is happening over here. But just would like to know the idea from all the panelists over here that the focus of wealth management in India is primarily into urban areas, urban centers, and what Mr. Ashish also said, that the focus is now also on the B15 cities, which are the tier 2, tier 3 level cities. But keeping in mind that a major part of the rural India is generating huge amount of wealth from the agricultural income, because since a commodity, it's an asset class in itself, but the kind of growth and the returns which we have seen in the agricultural commodities over the past, say, 2006 to 2013, it has been phenomenal. And if you look at any agricultural-based state like Punjab or Haryana or Andhra Pradesh, or people or states where most of the, something like a Kerala, where most of the like NRI inflows are coming in. So what is the strategy for that kind of markets, and what is the focus area? Because you have different models, like Mr. Rajesh is also saying that you have a centralized team which is kind of analyzing different asset classes and their performances, or possibly a mutual fund team in place subscribing to different reports. But like, what's the strategy from a wealth management perspective for at an industry level?
Okay, we get your point. Rajiv, I think you said you are, having 900 cities you are servicing. You could share your experience.
I think you're absolutely right. There's lots of money outside the top 15, 20 cities. The question really is, how do we get to these customers in a cost-effective manner? And I think it is also a function of financial literacy, because I think these people have generated money out of agriculture, out of sale of land, and so on and so forth. So I think they still use traditional instruments for preserving wealth or creating wealth. And I think it's a function of trust. They don't necessarily believe that from an asset allocation perspective, they should have some money in fixed income bonds or into equities. And I think that's something that, as more and more wealth managers, as more and more banks begin to focus on this area, I think we will certainly see a significant growth of money coming from these areas into financial instruments.
Just like to add to what Rajiv is saying, I think if you see the pattern which is happening, most of these centers which the mutual fund industry calls B15, beyond the top 15 centers, they are now getting more into consumerism rather than investments. So they are behind the curve in terms of the top 15 cities. It is bound to happen. You will find that somebody who's suddenly had access to money by selling his property or whatever, he will first want to spend some money. He'll go and buy a car, that too a state-of-the-art car. He'll go and buy some property elsewhere. He will not necessarily start looking at investments in insurance or mutual funds or whatever. So I think because of technology and because of the dissemination of information, they are getting aware of it, but it will still take some time. Yeah.
Hello, this is Deepak Hemani here. I am a financial planner. First of all, we are having a great discussion since morning. I have rarely attended such a meet where people have been speaking right on the topic and where it hurts. Okay, so there are 2 or 3 questions to my, first one is a small statement and then there is a question. I was here in this very same ring last year. I think Mr. Rajiv was here, Sunil Singhania was here, and 2 or 3 other big people from big mutual funds were here. Sunil Singhania went on to make a statement. He said that in the last 3 or 4 years, the Indian investor has been more, knowledgeable than us. We have been telling him to buy equity, do asset allocations, and he's been buying real estate, he's been buying gold, and he's the one who's made the money, and we haven't done anything for him. This was one. There is one thing about these HNIs. Just 2 or 3 days back, we visited an HNI, a real HNI, 100 crore turnover, 1 crore paying tax. We started talking to him about wealth management and investments. He told me, I have a relationship with my bank. There is this 100 crore turnover, so I have to, take what they are giving me. So he said, last Diwali, my banker called me up and he told me, I put in 3 kgs gold for you, please come and pay. Then whenever there is a new insurance plan being launched, sir, 50 lakh रुपए आपके नाम पे रख दिया, please आके भर के जाइए. He says that I am unable to say no to my banker. How do I as a wealth manager get into this person?
Okay.
If he's, yeah, one obvious way is I think banks are always looking for high quality wealth managers. So that's one way to do it. But no, seriously, I think that's a little unfair. I don't think banking is so easy that I have a relationship with the bank, and so therefore whatever is thrust on me, I am forced to buy it. I think ultimately it is the money of hard-earned money of that investor, and if he is signing every check or for every product that is being offered to him, I think he clearly needs high quality wealth management advice. And I think it is the particular example I think is a bit unfair, and I would imagine that reality is a little far from there.
I would just like to add, see, there are also, again, one of the client insights. There are ways and means by which a client wants to say no to you. Okay, many a times we don't hear that no. It always changes. The reason is that he may not want to do business with you, and this is just another excuse. Because a guy who is 100 crore turnover and is paying a tax of 1 crore, I'm assuming that he's a good credit quality, will have a queue of bankers to do business with him. Gone are those days, when a bank which is doing lending was commanding the entire sort of control over his assets or wealth. These days, even the credit side is equally tough. So you need to engage more with the client, to understand what is the real reason. This is the good reason which he gave you, but what is the real reason? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that what is the real reason of what he's saying? You need to get into that.
Yeah, and just to add, there are many firms that offer wealth management. You are also a financial planner, so there'll be some value that you bring to the table. And you would obviously need to convince the client as to why, by being with you, if you're a specialist, what are the value adds that you bring versus others. It could be about trying some money with you and seeing how it works as compared to the other institutions. So there are many ways to try and position yourself and your value proposition, since you are a specialist as compared to being a generalist. Yeah. So each one has to find their strength areas, because it's not only with the banks. Tomorrow you may be competing with someone who's another financial planner for that client. So how do you get that client on board? So it's really about what you bring to the table, your experience, your certification, your differentiation. It goes into many things.
Yeah, I think let us end on that positive note, that you really need to bring value on the table. Because I have seen so many people, who will say, like insurance agent, this is my old insurance agent, he's been giving me service. Jane do, if he doesn't give me this refund, he has made a mistake, but I will stick with him. It is part of lot of mistakes people make when it comes to advising, but it is very difficult for clients to go away. Clients who are doing business with you on relationship, I think those clients are not going to go away. They will pardon your mistakes, they will pay you something extra, but there is some emotional attachment which is there, with the advisor, and clients are, very difficult to go away. So don't get disheartened. Banks and everybody is there, but client is very smart. Okay, don't give him a person having 100 crore is not going to be pressurized by any bank. That I can tell you for sure. I think I should thank all the panelists who have... Okay, he wants to give a solution.
I can give you a solution, if it is of any. This is a sharing of experience. I am on the other side of the table. I've had quite a few people come and tell me, buy this insurance policy, buy this mutual fund, buy this equity investment. And my standard answer to all of them is, I'm sorry, I have compliance restrictions. I can't get into this because I had a mutual fund, etc., etc. However, there was one guy who got to the bottom of it. He says, I don't care, I don't want your investments. I will manage your administration because you have compliance issues. Every month I will make sure that you have a sheet which you can submit across all your investments. And today he is managing my money.